We are live, the SMT Podcast, July 19th edition, 2022. I have the Bearded Dragon. I have the Dentist. We got Telco Jesus. Actually, we got the Telco Buddha, the Telco Jesus, Telco Poppy. We got all types of nicknames. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming. We've got topics tonight, network-related topics. And, yeah, there you go. I see. Yep. And you know what? I think we can look at this from a couple of different perspectives. I look at this 100% from a competition standpoint. Some people are looking at this like, how does this help me? I think it's going to be a huge boost for a lot of people. More markets getting more 5G, wider channels, more capacity. That means less congestion, right? All these different things. And
nothing wrong with more people having access to more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk quality networking. It appears that there's a story floating around. I think it's from Light Reading. Networks are degrading, Pete.
Really?
Yes, networks are degrading. So that feels like a tug of war, doesn't it? Networks get upgraded. Network gets a lot of usage. Network needs to be upgraded again. Like you look at all these things that go into upgrading networks, right?
Do you want to dive into that story? I can give you a long-winded opinion on it.
Yeah, sure. Let's do the Verizon 5G speeds and coverage thing real quick, and then that one will kind of give a bulk of the show too, because I feel like that one's pretty big. That's a big idea.
Oh,
right,
yeah.
So let me go ahead and link the first story. And I did a video on this earlier, so if you guys caught it, you're up to speed. For those of you that maybe didn't see it yet, maybe go watch it after the show, but we've got the details for you here today. And let's do our hellos, actually. I see some people. I see Derek. I see Sofak, TJ, and Franco. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. All right, we got 71 in the live. When you guys come in, please do like this and share it to your friends and family and your socials. And I know you guys are all quite the influencers in your world, so, help me out, and let's get this video happy in the algo. All right.
I recently saw a SMT video on my Google Now or whatever the heck they're calling it on my Pixel, and I swipe all the way to the right. So
Yeah, you were telling me it's in the Google News feed now. So moving up in the world, Pete.
Yeah.
Do the one where you hid the chat. Remember?
Yeah,
Sneed?
Gotcha.
Or ahoy, alternate reality.
Alternate reality. What up? All right, gentlemen. So here is the story from Mr. Sasha C-Band. Verizon beefs up 5G speeds and coverage. We have the first test results.
Hold up, Sneed. We still need to get him on the show.
Yeah. We're going to try to plan that out and see if we can get him on one of the podcasts.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, Pete. Here's the first piece to this news. 60 megahertz channels of N77 for Verizon. 40 megahertz channels of N77 for AT&T. 100 megahertz channels of N41 for T-Mobile. That kind of sets the stage where we're at right now.
Yep.
For Verizon, they're early clearing, working with the satellite operators who have had control of C-band for decades, right, for TV. They're freeing up more of that capacity. They're freeing up more of the spectrum for Verizon to use, right? So they're accelerating that repack because satellite operations is one-way transmission, and terrestrial cellular is a two-way transmission, so it's different.
Yep, they're getting out of the CE range.
Yeah, right. So they're handling all this. Verizon is paying the cost to be the boss, right, to do this. And some of the markets have gone 100 megahertz, and they've added more markets, Pete, to like the C-band availability. So we got plus 30 markets, plus 40 megahertz spectrum. How does that impact customers, Pete?
Well, for those blessed enough to encounter these markets, means more people can be on it, and you don't notice a degradation in connectivity. And those who have been on it may notice slightly faster speeds for, I don't know, caching a Facebook video.
What about the home internet, Pete? I thought about that. Did you think about that?
Hey, more internet options, more better.
Go ahead, Dennis. Talk to me. Do that one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm most excited about it for home internet customers. The performance that we've been seeing from Verizon deployment from 100 meg with their use case for 100 megahertz of C-band has been tremendous. We've been seeing speeds peak over a gigabit per second on the download, and uplink also seems to be pretty incredible as well. Seems to be pretty consistently and reliably getting about 100 meg on the uplink, which is tremendous.
That's crazy.
I'm hoping that what I'm really hoping for is that with Verizon getting early access and early clearance to this additional mid-band spectrum, I'm hoping that it'll enable them to be maybe a little bit more generous with their consumer fixed wireless home internet solution, because right now they cap it at 300 by 20, pretty on the nose. I'm hoping that maybe they'll free that up a little bit, maybe allow for 300 by 50 if available or something like that.
So if the gateway was able to do, say, for like, let's say somebody's handheld mobile device was getting like 500 by 75.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying, why can't we get a little bit of a boost on the home internet, right?
Right.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's really good. Honestly though, I feel like 100 megahertz still isn't enough, to be honest. Like, I feel like 100 megahertz, like, it's great that it's getting there, but I wish that Verizon could have access to more of it quicker, because in places where T-Mobile has 140 megahertz of N41 on air, 140 megahertz,
160. Some places.
I'm seeing that even get congested. Or congested is the wrong word, but
you're seeing it push to its limits, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not congested in the sense of how we would define it, but like speeds are somewhere in the 200 range. But that's 140 megahertz of mid-band spectrum on air. So,
hey, more spectrum on air, better experience for the users. But we're gonna continue encountering my least favorite self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you get, the more you want.
Pretty much.
Right.
That's how it works, literally.
That's true, man. I mean, here's what we're seeing right now. Louisville is one of the cities that got the 100 megahertz treatment, going from 60 to 100. So you get a 65-70% increase in bandwidth availability. You start seeing 1.2 gigs on the downlink, 142 megabits on the uplink. I think that's phenomenal, especially for a phone that came out last year. The iPhone 12 and the S21. Those are last year phones, right? So what happens next year, right? When we start getting even more capable modems and better carrier aggregation combos, more bandwidth and such. You know, I think 500 megabit per second average is going to be easy. You know,
so
once you get to that point.
I've been noticing in my market on my limited carrier aggregation capacity with N71 and N41, and hey, if I can get 400 megs on a 41 edge with 71 as the carrier with this Genesis stuff, just imagine what the Pixel 7 would be doing.
Yeah, the next generation Tensor, the next generation Qualcomm.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be phenomenal because these speed tests are from last year's models, right? We got 1 gig plus, we got 100 up. You know, we got 1.2 gigs per second.
Since you're touching on that, Sneed, I'm going to be really excited to see Verizon flip CBRS onto the NR side, because I would love to see the NR carrier aggregation between CBRS N77 and either N5 or N2, whichever one they choose to use in the market they're using it in.
Yeah, that's huge potential, Dennis. You know why?
Because they changed the power on the CBRS.
It's true. It's true. That's possible. I mean, there's going to have to be some rule changes too that would have to happen. But the bigger thing is going to be the fact that Verizon has 30 or 40 megahertz licensed in the top 50 PAs. But then there's unlicensed that's available nationally, first come, first served. You might see 70 megahertz of N48. I don't know how they're going to configure it. I'm completely speculating. I don't know if they'll leave if they're going to do unlicensed on LTE and then licensed on 5G. I don't know. I'm speculating. But I'm just saying, you're slapping on more bandwidth. You're right. That is something to be excited about. The only reservations I have is the power. It just isn't there. I was kind of hoping, and
I
Pete,
mean,
speak to this, the DoD, if they just gave up that whole 3 gigahertz band, we got a totally different story, bro.
They are not giving up that for that communication. The deployment of the CBRS spectrum was a compromise between the FCC and NTIA, because the FCC said, hey, we want more spectrum on air, and we notice you're not really active in this band. And the DoD said, but we need it. So we're going to see a standoff until, sometime after we end up with 15 years out on a funding bill where we have everything that had naval radar on it using that spectrum retired. It's not like you can change out a radar system that was custom built for a ship.
Facts.
Built in the 60s.
Facts, Pete.
And this is why we get the compromise. It's not like, an airplane where you can actually swap out an altimeter, because the altimeters were not built for the airplane. The airplane had a location where it could put an altimeter.
It's a good analogy. It's a good explanation, Pete. My only concern is, do you think that the 3 gigahertz band is properly being managed? Do you think the FCC did this right?
No.
Also no on my side.
But I've had no faith on the FCC with spectrum management since the 700 megahertz sell-off.
I feel like there's an echo in the room, man. I've been saying that it's been bad since 700, man. When I saw what happened with band 12 and band 13 and all that, oh my God, man.
So there's 2 things I want to say real quick. One, I just want to be clear, even though I want to see Verizon and the carriers get access to more, I'm so happy that Verizon's putting up this C-band, because it really is a night and day difference. Like, we touched on this very lightly in the Patreon stream, which if you're not already, make sure you become a member so you could check it out with Sneed.
I would have jumped on that if it wasn't during my dinner time.
But
calories, Pete.
But
man needs to eat.
But listen, like even in the markets where 60 megahertz is available, it is an absolute game changer. Yeah. It literally makes Verizon's network go from unusable because it's so congested to a very capacitive, reliable, and stable experience. But the second thing I want to touch on is shorter, is Sneed. Scroll down to the comments that are on this article. There's 2 comments that were left, and
while he's doing that, we get an interesting comment in
Stop. Whoa, you went too far.
In chat from Mitch the Haxor, saying you got 1.2 gigs down on T-Mobile with 71. Looks like they're aggregating in Mitch's market. So, what are we looking at in the comments here, Dennis?
Well, it's comments that were left on the PC Mag article, and
yeah.
I just thought it was interesting because responses like this are typically what I see about anything Verizon posts or anything Verizon related. And I wanted to ask, what are your thoughts? Why do you think people are reacting this way?
Okay, so the first one from this guy, the top one.
That one I could sort of understand, but continue.
All right. The second one says, "So exciting, fake 5G that I can't use. Thanks, Verizon."
Yeah.
So I'm taking, if I remember your video from earlier, this Jim guy in that comment is not in Atlanta or another one of those 30 markets.
Right.
I mean, every time I hear about a 3 gigahertz range deployment from Verizon, I'm like, I may see that someday.
Right. Because they build, Pete.
They build,
Yeah.
and my market is a little different than most other markets they would be deploying in. There are some additional restrictions.
Oh, because of the naval base?
No, I've
Wait, what is your situation? It's a military op, isn't it?
I have FAA radar state tower for the region,
So it's aviation stuff.
a airport, and a national silence zone
No RF, huh?
within 20 miles of me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I was more so like I get being frustrated that it may not be available in that person's area, but like, why would you be mad about Verizon deploying 5G?
I mean, I'm always hyped when somebody sends something new. And alternate reality chimes in with a $2 super chat expressing our opinion, saying if they build it, we will come if it works.
Facts. It's big facts. You know, people speak with their dollars. If you're unimpressed by what Verizon is doing, you can spend your money with the big blue Death Star or the big magenta,
Fine.
Yeah, so it's you have options, and you can go prepaid, and you can go MVNO, and you don't have to pay Verizon directly. You could deal with US Mobile or Visible or whatever else you want to do. I don't know.
We may be throwing in a referral code for this sooner than later. I mean, if you don't have C-band and you're a light data user, always Arctic Mobile.
Yeah,
People are touching on the broadband definition. We talked about that in the Patreon convo for people that are commenting about the FCC share.
Should have happened 2 years ago. Go Rosenworcel.
She just got here. There was no action for what, a year and a half, Pete? Nothing got done at the FCC.
Oh, they've been doing things.
Well, no, now they are, but you remember like the first year she was in. Dude, they got nowhere with the FCC and the FAA.
That was
2021 was a lost year, bro.
Yeah, that was a tangled mess of bureaucracy, but they did pass a regulation for the nutrition facts for your broadband that we will be seeing next year.
Yeah,
because it takes time to implement.
I'm gonna give her props for what she's been able to do in the last 6 months. I do.
She is responsible for wrangling up Auction 108, which has taken a year and a half to prep for.
That's a tough one.
So, things have been happening. They haven't been happening fast. It's not like we're giving out spectrum for RF TV channels like they did in the 40s. Which, by the way, my market got access to RF TV in the 60s due to the lethargic FCC.
You guys want me to zoom in on some of these cities?
Up to you.
All right. Baltimore, Washington, Richmond, Virginia. I'm just running along the seaboard here. Let's see here. Greensboro. What city is this? Winston-Salem. Fayetteville. Shout out to J. Cole. We got
Winston-Salem. Think about our friend Tim complaining that Verizon still doesn't hit him.
Columbia, Augusta. Is that Charleston? Yeah.
That is Charleston.
Let's see, what else we got? Any other places? There's some Florida up in here. Sarasota, Fort Myers is mentioned. Going to 100 megahertz. Mobile. See, now this is important. I want to talk about Mobile, right?
Yeah, Alabama and Mississippi are deserts for everything.
Pete, what are the chances that this is one entire PEA right here? Like this entire segment of the state, right? The whole bottom portion.
That's, I believe, 3.
You think there's 3 PEAs down there?
Yeah, that part of the state is the most densely populated.
What are the chances that there are some people who have really bad DSL?
I know if you go north of there are some people still on dial-up.
Yeah,
So,
they could use the 100 megahertz Verizon Home Internet.
So,
Let's see
Flyboy
here.
Rex says the FCC also reinstituted our stance on net neutrality. Hey, is that C-band in Juarez, Mexico?
Ciudad Juarez, El Paso, Fort Bliss.
Oh, it's in El Paso, not Juarez.
It's just north of it. So you go up the 45, it takes you into the U.S. It's right there on the border.
45 becomes 54.
That's right. And then I remember Tucson was mentioned. I put that into the video.
Yep.
Let's see. Any California mentioned? I don't see California. Let's go up northwest a little bit. I see Boise.
Yep.
All right, let's go into the heartland. Omaha. Des Moines.
I'm going to have to look around Denver.
I see Tulsa. I see Wichita. Anything else in the Midwest here, sort of? Memphis. Nice. That's a nice upgrade. We got Louisville. How about the Dayton market, man? Dayton, Ohio.
For clarification,
something to do there.
For clarification, Sneed, these areas are any of them areas that already had ultrawide and just gained the extra megahertz, or are these like fresh builds for Verizon?
Technically,
some of them are
Denver,
yeah,
already had mmWave deployed in certain areas.
How about the C-band build, Pete? Live over there?
Nope.
Okay, so now it is.
I'm gonna have to find some time to go down to Denver and check.
I wish I was there with you, man. There's a lot of good food down in Denver.
I occasionally get treated to some, so I believe you.
Take Stetson with you. I'm sure he'll be going down there to do some testing.
Springfield, Mass. Oh, Buffalo, New York, Niagara Falls area.
I'm sure Stetson would be down to go.
Hey, so
right,
Sneed,
guys, yeah,
Sneed, can we on the topic of Verizon Ultra Wideband, can we talk about what you told me behind the scenes, or no?
Yeah. I don't want to spoil anything, but we'll just kind of cover it from the outside. T-Mobile upgraded my home site.
Yep.
I am so happy about that. I don't think you guys understand. Like, there were times where me and Dennis were on the phone, or me and Nikki were on the phone, and like it was trouble with calls. Like, I needed an upgrade to that Sprint site really bad.
I'm a little annoyed with their update to my home site.
What's going on? Are they trying new stuff?
They're rotating over to a standalone connection with aggregating the two 5G bands.
And it's worse performance than when it was on NSA, right?
Yeah.
Wait, it's more reliable NSA than it is SA.
At the moment. So,
Welcome
give it another week and a half, and I might be Pete, look, they gave me a present.
Yeah, but Pete, can you control that? Can you put it into NSA mode?
Yeah.
That's what I would do for now, at least.
I've been sticking it to SA mode just for fun.
Just to test it out.
You like to suffer is what you like to do.
So, Dennis, I'm from a time, and I believe Sneed is too, where we could not reliably get phone calls going on our cell phones, even with 5 bars.
Mm-hmm.
So when I put on SA, I can still make phone calls. So I get to watch the improvement and be like, it's happening.
You get to reminisce. And remember how important it was to have a landline 20 years ago.
Yes, and I also get to have the euphoria to know I'm not going to be charged roaming in my native market.
That
So
should've never
things have
happened.
improved.
So how about this, man? T-Mobile upgraded my home site, and they did it fast. Bravo to them. Good crew. Axiom Wireless, I think, was the name of the company. They did the upgrade. He explained everything to me. I saw the cabinet, Pete. I saw all the gear get upgraded. I saw all the old stuff, all
You
the
got
new
a picture
stuff.
of the cabinet?
I got everything, bro. I'm going to be
Get it on
making
Twitter.
videos and posting stuff.
Should send me a picture of the cabinet.
I got you. It's pretty simple. Their cabinet space is limited compared to, say, for example, AT&T's on-site. AT&T's cabinet is massive. It's like a small apartment, huge. In fact, actually, the AT&T upgrade, when I went in there to look at the stuff, the Band 14 radios are inside the cabinet. Yeah. Pete, it's the craziest thing I ever seen. That's why I'm saying, like, they got a lot of room in the AT&T cabinet. The T-Mobile one's much smaller. You know, it wasn't a T-Mobile site. It was a Sprint site.
I wonder if everybody noticed my facial reaction when he said the 14 antenna was in there.
No, not the antenna, the radio.
Yeah, the radio. Like,
there's 3 radios. There were literally 3. Pete, have you seen the Band 14 radios? They're like, they are huge, and they're just anchored up against this big steel
up
beam.
until COVID happened, I was talking with the FirstNet committee, and they had demos.
Oh, okay. So you know what I'm talking about. They're huge.
Massive.
I'm guessing maybe it was temperature control.
Makes sense.
I couldn't think of anything else because everything else is in there. Baseband. I saw the fiber, all the batteries. T-Mobile's batteries that they use, this is disappointing. I would assume that if the power goes out on my T-Mobile home site, the connection's probably going to hang for like an hour. And it's probably going to, because the batteries are smaller. There's like 3 of them. They're about this big each.
Are they lithium ion, or are we talking like nuclear?
Lithium ion. Nuclear. I wish, bro. I wish.
I actually read a scientific article talking about using some nuclear waste putting into a iron shell, and if it still sublimates, you could create power. So, nuclear powered cell towers. Hides the waste.
Yeah, Ricky, the Band 14 radios were in the they're in the shelter. I know what I was looking at. It said FirstNet on them. I know what radios look like. I mean, I know you're a smart guy and stuff, bro, but I know what I saw. I have pictures. I'll show them to you. And anyways,
so focusing back on the exciting stuff.
Oh, okay. So T-Mobile did the upgrade. Phenomenal. I got to do some coverage and some testing. AT&T was there the same day, had to leave because T-Mobile was on the site first. They come back a week later, 7, 8, 9 days later, and they do their upgrade. They take like 4 or 5 days. They have to do more. They got to do like Band 66, Band 2. They're doing radios. They're putting up new antennas. They have to work on the side of the tower. T-Mobile works on the top. So T-Mobile's got a crane bringing everything up, right? And then it's easy. They drop it, they guide it, connect everything, the plumbing, the whole thing. So T-Mobile was done in 2 or 3 days. AT&T took like 4 or 5 days. I swear to you, bro, day number 2 of the AT&T upgrade, Verizon goes and starts upgrading my home site. They're up there for 2-3 days and they're done.
Are we turning the water into like superhumans there yet?
I knew Pete was gonna say something like that. So Pete, I got every carrier's mid-band 5G serving my home.
Nice.
And I can test all 3, and all 3 are gonna reach the crib. And
I only have 1 carrier's.
Yeah, so you got one choice, right? If you're gonna be connecting to a legitimate channel of 5G. And
yep.
I'm not gonna spoil anything because I want to do some like legitimate coverage. You know, and I'm going to take some pictures. I'm going to do some video footage for you guys. I'll do some voiceover work to explain everything, show you guys what they did. But man, it's good to be a fat cat right now. I went from having Cox home internet, bro, the trash can residue, right? The garbage, the slime
To
running up
500
against
meg
the dumpster.
fiber.
I went and I got AT&T fiber, and now all the carriers are upgrading my cellular.
You're spoiled for connectivity as myself is, where I have, well, in your case, you have AT&T fiber, you still have Cox available, you got Verizon's home internet,
Cox is not available, bro. That's enough.
T-Mobile home internet, and you got AT&T. Even though they don't have a home internet solution, you still got that AT&T 5G. So I'm happy for you, brother.
I'm going to have to pump the brakes a little bit on the T-Mobile home internet because I got to finish my testing and my evaluation. Because for cellular is one thing. For home internet is another, Dennis. You know what I'm talking about.
I'm aware. Listen, I'm very openly a critic of T-Mobile home internet. I have changed my tune when it comes to fixed wireless thanks to Verizon and the updates they did to their equipment they provide. Verizon fixed wireless home internet really is a home internet experience. T-Mobile's, on the other hand, is a watered down hotspot.
Well, especially in your market, I think if you gave your tech a potato, you'd turn it into whiskey.
Well, no, Pete, I tested the T-Mobile home internet at Stetson's house. We have line of sight on the cell tower equipment.
Yes, we do. I've looked at the cell tower from his porch.
And I'm saying I was not impressed. I was not impressed by the T-Mobile home internet, and that was best case scenario for T-Mobile.
Yep. So, Sneed, talking about blazing speeds for all the carriers in your market. Have you found 1.6 gigs on T-Mobile?
Nah, they haven't done the backhaul here yet.
Tony Phony Baloney did.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Dude, I have seen some of his screenshots now that I think about it. He did share some of those with me. Hey man, look, I'm not kicking out 600-700 meg down. I'm good with what I'm seeing at a T-Mobile speeds in my market. I don't have a trouble with it at all. The uplink is great here too.
He's happy with the speed test, but don't ask him to do a FaceTime call on it.
That's another issue.
It's because FaceTime's optimized for AT&T.
Yeah, sure it is.
Oh man, you could take that to the bank, Dennis.
Yeah,
I mean, look,
it is optimized for AT&T.
I mean, it did work flawlessly when I was on the AT&T connection, showing you that broken Fios node.
Yeah, and if you're on one bar, it will still connect just fine.
It's definitely market to market. It's not, because there are times where I'm on Verizon, Pete's on T-Mobile. We have no troubles at all. I mean, we did a video call on his SA 5G connection, didn't we, Pete? The SA N71.
Yep, on Google Duo.
It was flawless.
4K quality.
One market is a coincidence. 2 markets is a pattern. 3 markets is a trend. And 4 markets is a fact. T-Mobile cannot do a FaceTime call. I'm sorry.
I almost tried a duo call in Salt Lake, but I wanted to try the voice over NR there.
Listen, I don't know what it is, but T-Mobile doesn't like FaceTime and Apple servers, okay? It just does not work.
Yeah, they're optimized for AT&T.
I know you're just busting my chops, but...
No, I'm not.
So you're telling me AT&T has like an exclusive routing of traffic for FaceTime calls that T-Mobile and Verizon can't utilize?
I'm not saying they can't utilize it. I might be saying they don't want to pay for it.
It's fast lane, bro. It's prioritize.
Well, my priority is to use AT&T because when it comes to call quality in Pittsburgh, regardless of app, whether it be FaceTime, Signal, WhatsApp, whatever.
I wonder if he uses Duo.
Duo. It all sounds great. I have Duo. I downloaded Duo on my iPhone just for you, and you still never call me on it.
I didn't get a notification saying Dental's on Duo.
Bro, I've had it since... Dude, I've had it since the Galaxy S22 days. I just didn't have it on my iPhone. I downloaded it.
Hey, we got to pull the people.
And it's because we didn't look at tech. It's going to show up as Tech Jesus.
Can we do these polls, man?
Yeah, let's do them.
All right, let's do the polls. Pete, we got a super chat. Talk to me, man.
So, we got a $10 super chat from Franco Barrara. saying, here's some money for T-Mobile to improve FaceTime over cellular. Thank you, Franco. And hopefully they will. Because apparently people like FaceTiming.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point of buying an iPhone is for the iMessage / FaceTime experience.
I mean, that's their marketing, right? Pressure teenagers into buying their phones so they can not be blackballed. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. So what's the poll that you want to do here, Sneed?
It is officially up now. Go ahead and cast your vote. This is the first of 2 or 3 polls we're going to do tonight. All right, so go ahead and make your vote. Pete, do yours. Dennis, do yours. The rest of the crew here that's here in the live chat. Big shout out to Franco. Thanks for that super chat. You guys go ahead and get your vote. Let's see if we can get 100 votes. I got 110 in the live stream right now. Let's see if we can get 100 votes at least. So if you can pop out of whatever you're looking at, if your screen's off, whatever you're doing, come back into the live stream, click into the live chat area. You'll be able to drop down this poll, and you can click on one of those 3 options. And they go as follows. Which connection is going to best serve the SMT HQ? Now, they can all be good, but I'm saying which one will best serve? Which one will be like best latency, most capacity for downlink, uplink, quality, a streaming test, video playback. I can count on it. It's good. You know what I'm saying? So, which one do you think is going to best serve the SMT HQ?
It's a hard question because I know in your market Verizon is legendary, but on the same token, I know that AT&T is very similar to my market in that they're very capacitive and have less market share, so they're going to have more capacity due to that fact. There's less people using them there.
Wait. AT&T put 5G Plus up near you?
Yeah.
Whose mother did you marry?
Brian Roberts.
Pete, I'm not joking. T-Mobile was first. They came to the tower site. They started setting up all their stuff.
No, seriously. You can't even find 5G Plus in Vegas.
Pete, AT&T showed up the same day as T-Mobile. They had the lead.
You know 5G Plus is available in Pittsburgh too, right? I found it months ago.
Well, it's Pittsburgh. AT&T wants your firstborn daughter.
They love me over here. Yeah, they specifically know that I'm here, which is why every time I move somewhere, I always get tremendous performance. That's the reason that they do it.
Then don't move here. They will. This is the bastard market.
If I move there, they'll upgrade every set around there. Just watch.
Then maybe you should move here so we have a third carrier.
Honestly, Pete, all jokes aside, if I didn't actually buy a house out here in Pittsburgh, seriously, if I was still renting, after my experience in Longmont, I mean this sincerely, I could totally envision myself living in Longmont. That's the one place in Central America that is actually so incredibly nice. Everything about Longmont was beautiful, including that next late fiber, which is the main reason that I want to be there.
It makes it hard to leave.
Listen, man, my Verizon Fios works fine, but I would just love to actually have a competent company like Nextlight.
Alternate reality says they have an ear chip in the back of your head. So they're tracking you. AT&T. So do you get targeted ads that are really good from them?
Yeah, it's whenever I dream in Futurama.
Oh, yeah. By the way, that's my least favorite episode of Futurama.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I'll put it to you this way. A show that had a joke in one episode about banking regulations did a horrible job covering banking regulations in that episode.
So the votes are... I just want to say, as I'm looking at the poll, the votes are more split than I thought they would be. I 100% thought that T-Mobile would have 0%, and it would be a 50-50 tie between Verizon and AT&T.
I want to speak to what we have right now. We only have 61 votes, right? I'm trying to get us to 100 votes, but there should be balance here. AT&T and T-Mobile are on the same site, and Verizon's on its own site, but they're about the same distance. This is as equal a test as it's going to get, unless there's literally somehow, some way, a bad or faulty radio. There's like no other way that this is going to be bad for the SMT. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not losing, right? But if we're just talking about which one is best, like which one's going to have the GOAT connection, right? You just have to pick one. That's all. I'm sitting fat, bro. You know, the bakery's got mmWave. The bakery has fiber. You know what I'm saying? Like, the bakery has everything.
Dude, real quick, bakery not a sponsor. The bakery has amazing food. Who cares about the connectivity?
It's got the most important thing, right, Pete? The quality calories.
Yeah.
Yasmin, you want to say hi?
Cheese bread.
Oh, Yasmin likes the cheese bread. You want to say hi?
I enjoyed those fava beans.
Yeah, they were good.
She got a smartwatch?
Yasmin has a Grogu watch. You want to tell him about your Grogu watch, Yasmin? Here, tell him about it. Tell him what you do with it.
Papa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tell him. Tell him what it counts.
It counts my steps.
Mm-hmm. It's like a fitness tracker, right? Count all your steps. How many steps today? Tell them.
I got 4,535.
She's making me feel lazy.
Yeah.
4,535 steps. Right?
4,535.
That's right.
I don't keep track of my steps because my iPhone doesn't do it like Samsung does. But if I had to guess, I might have walked maybe 2,000 steps.
And
today.
Baba, how much running steps I have is 41.
41 running steps?
Uh-huh.
Well, then you know what we're doing.
Was it outside the house?
Were you running outside or in the house?
So I was kind of like running outside and in the house. And when we were getting the pizza, I was kind of running.
That's true.
Too.
We went and got pizza. That's right.
I got I made 1,067 steps with my phone on me.
1,000. I got them 4,000.
Which does absolutely nothing because I periodically just leave it on a table and do stuff.
So you're happy with your Grogu fitness
Oh,
tracker?
I see it. Apple
Yeah,
does
I
keep
got it.
track in the health app. I've walked 3,991 steps today.
Uncle Dennis got some steps too.
Look, it's copying me.
I know. And then, so you got Uncle Dennis at the bottom, and you got Uncle Pete, the bearded dragon.
So I leave my
Where's the-
phone
where's
right here most of the
The
time.
bottom.
Uncle Dennis, he's chilling in the cut like Neosporin.
Why isn't he in the show?
He's occupied right now.
What?
I don't know,
Where's
Yasmin. His camera's off. His camera's off. Why are you asking so many questions?
Just tell her I'm the one with the crazy beard that always wears a beanie. She should remember that.
Yeah, the guy with the beanie.
I think I have a crazier beard.
Yeah. What do you think of the bearded dragon? All right, kiddo. Go ahead.
But by the way, Yasmin, MS chimes in with a $2 super chat saying, "Welcome to our favorite guest star, Yasmin."
Yasmin, the guest star. Look, you got a super chat. Yasmin. $2.71 from MS.
Who's that?
Mm-hmm.
Where's MS? Who's MS?
MS.
Who is MS?
He is a viewer of the show.
In the great state of Maine.
That's right.
Yasmin is internet famous.
Ow!
Baba, are you okay?
Ah,
Did she kick you?
that was my foot, bro.
No?
Yasmin. Dude, I think my foot's ground beef, bro.
Rip your foot.
It's not funny, Pete. All right.
You
So
gotta
we got
laugh
the
it
vote
off, though.
Dude, we're only at 86 votes. Can we get 14 more votes, please, for those that didn't vote? Can I get a few more votes?
While we're waiting for those votes, do you get that basement repainted?
No, man. I got to do a couple segments here. I got the one behind the TV, and I got to do the one.
Can we get 13 more votes, and specifically for AT&T 5G Plus?
No, don't do it for 18. By the way, just to let you guys know,
Break a foot.
there's 10 gig fiber on that site. Just I'm not going to tell you who's got it. I'm not going to tell you, but there is 10 gig fiber at one of
Is
those
it
sites.
Dish? You can tell me. Is it Dish?
If it's not
like 3
AT&T
times if it's Dish.
I swear, Pete. Okay, if Dish does a 10 gig site on 40 megahertz of bandwidth,
they're stupid.
I'm slapping somebody.
But no, it has to be AT&T. Dude, they literally run the fiber in your area. If it's not AT&T, I'm going to be blown away.
Hey, Sneed, we got Daryl Williams from Mobile, Alabama. Daryl, have you encountered the N77 on Verizon down there? Hey, we're at 95 votes, Sneed.
Sneed, you got four more
All right,
votes.
we need, I think, 4 more votes. We're at 96 currently.
And we're getting more viewers, too.
Oh, no kidding. See what happens when you get Yasmin up in here, dude? You get her spinning around in a chair, you start getting more views. You know? Franco says if Dish does a 10 gig site, Dennis has to eat his beanie live on the podcast.
Listen, my beanie is going to be delicious and well seasoned. Okay.
My foot can't take another one of those.
Could you see Dish doing 120?
Steve, we got 101 votes.
All right, we got 101 votes. I'm closing it out. If you got a vote, get it in the next 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ending the poll with 103 votes. All right, let's see what the people say, Dennis. And
that's
Pete.
About what I was expecting. That's
All
about
right.
what I was expecting.
Verizon, 40%. AT&T 5G Plus, 37%. That's pretty close. Wow.
That's what I was expecting. Yeah.
All right, T-Mobile 5G UC at 21%.
Oh my god.
I'm kind of disappointed. I thought T-Mobile was going to get a few more votes, man. I thought it was going to be approaching 30%.
It's our channel. Hold on. Sneed, think about what you're saying here. It's our channel, our fan base. About half of them are Verizon diehards, right?
Yep.
And then the other portion of it understands that T-Mobile, for most of the country, although they have lots of capacity, builds their network very inconsistently.
So what about those AT&T diehards in the 40% range?
Yeah, but the way I'm looking at is simple mathematics, Pete and Dennis. I'm looking at 100 megahertz N41.
Yeah, but think about it for a second, Sneed. AT&T, 40 megahertz of N77.
Sneed, you don't like that 160?
Hold on. Think about it for a second, Sneed. 40 megahertz N77 AT&T outperforming 100 megahertz of N41 in Pittsburgh. Verizon.
That's confirmed. That is actually true.
Yes. I showed it on the live stream when I had a stroke going past the movie theater when I first spotted it. I literally couldn't believe my eyes.
We got a super chat from John McCallion, $5, saying road trip to Denver and CLE starts this weekend. Yeah. What are we gonna do? Hit up in 5-6 days, John?
Thanks, John. Appreciate the super chat.
Also, did I say your surname correctly this time?
Pete, say it again.
McCallion.
Yes, bro. He actually McCallion. Yes, sir. He did it.
But anyway, like I was saying, so Sneed, think about it, right? So AT&T, what they're able to do with 40 megahertz is either on par with or better than what T-Mobile's been doing with 100 megahertz of N41. Verizon, 60 megahertz, is also achieving N41 100 megahertz levels of performance or better.
Depending on the market.
So with that being said, why is it that shocking to you that people wouldn't trust in the 100 megahertz of T-Mobile?
Most people equate speed with best.
I equate my phone call going through with...
Right, but I'm talking about what I'm trying to tell you is, Sneed, Verizon, 60 megahertz of ultra-wideband literally can get faster speed tests than T-Mobile than N4100 megahertz. I've had tests where Verizon literally got 800 meg down, 120 up on 60 megahertz N41 or N77, excuse me, and T-Mobile would have 100 megahertz of N41 and only be getting like 500, 400.
It's hard to argue your experience, man. You know, where T-Mobile has N41 in Cleveland, it is fast. I just figured that that's what the perception is, right? The T-Mobile marketing is effective, Dennis.
I just have no complaints.
Nah.
Well, I mean, we also know the speed that you're getting at your house with T-Mobile is only like 200-300.
Initial testing when it was turned on was in the 300s.
What's it now?
I got to do more testing, man. I really haven't tested it much.
What is your peak speed you've seen from T-Mobile? Just go. Peak speed.
I'm not even joking, Dennis. I have barely tested it since the first week.
Okay.
Like literally the last 2 weeks, I have been just making all types of, other site content. So I've been going around town. I've been tracking upgrades, but like the peak speed was like 400 at its best.
All right. AT&T, go. What was peak speed?
It's not on yet.
All right. Verizon, go.
It just got turned on today.
Yes. And it was?
No comment.
Well, I know what it was.
And the patrons are going to know first.
Yeah.
The YouTube side, they find out a little bit later. All right.
We
early access for the patrons, big shout out to the patrons, respect, big salute to them. And, we like to give them, that first go. But I will be posting pictures. I will be doing testing. I'm also kind of waiting. Like I gave T-Mobile a couple of weeks to tune their site. I want to give Verizon the same couple of weeks to tune theirs. And then when AT&T does theirs and turns it on, which literally I'm expecting AT&T to either get turned on tomorrow or the next day. There's no reason
if you're
why
waiting for T-Mobile to optimize, you're going to have to give them out to November. I'm not joking because that's what they're doing with my home site, out to November.
Look, man, my experience with the T-Mobile engineering team in Cleveland they're mixed bag.
Dennis, it's your home site. Let's be happy if it shows up by, I don't know, the time he goes into rehab.
Listen, by the time it gets turned back on, it's probably going to be pointing at the sky. But jokes aside, I'm sorry. Those results there are what I was expecting. I was expecting a pretty much 50-50, like almost a 50-50 tie with Verizon and AT&T. I'm actually surprised that T-Mobile got as high as the vote as they did.
I'm going to do another one. Since we did which one will be best served, let's do the fastest. Which connection will be the fastest at the SMT HQ? All right, so we're going to set it up the same way. AT&T.
How close is the Verizon site in comparison to the AT&T T-Mobile?
They're all the same. They're all like within a mile. They are all within a mile.
We talking about 5G or 4G?
We'll just do the brand new connections. We'll just do mid-band 5G.
Okay.
All right, so N41 for T-Mobile, N77 for AT&T, N77 for Verizon. AT&T is 40 megahertz of N77. Verizon is 60 megahertz of N77. T-Mobile is 100 megahertz of N41. LTE, give AT&T another like 30 megahertz. Verizon, give them 10 plus 20. Give them another 30 LTE, right? Because they aggregate it. And then for T-Mobile, it's going to be 20, 40. It's going to be 40 megahertz of LTE because it's going to be 20 PCS band 2 and then 20 AWS band 2.
So to clarify, is AT&T not doing band 30 where you're at?
They are, but
it doesn't reach.
I don't know if it's going to be connecting, because if it's connecting, then that means it's not connecting AWS. They're going to literally do either 20 and 20 PCS AWS, or they're going to be doing 20 and 10, which would be the band 30 and either band 2 or band 66.
Well, in Pittsburgh, what they'll do is they'll do band 2 and they'll carry aggregate that twice in 10 megahertz chunks. So band. You're giving me a weird.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that they did that.
Yeah, so it goes band 2 10 megahertz, band 2 10 megahertz, band 66 20 megahertz, band 30, 10 megahertz. And then N77, 40 megahertz. So 90 megahertz of total bandwidth. Did you hear me?
Yeah, I heard you.
Okay.
Yasmin's asking about the emojis in the live chat. She's intrigued.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's
Can I look at the emojis?
We got to get you. We just got to get you some custom emotes, Sneed. That's what we got to do.
Yasmin, should we do custom emotes?
What is that?
We'll do it.
Ooh, can I tweet more? Can I tweet more? Tweet more Grogu.
Okay, all right. Yasmin.
Wait, she uses Twitter?
Dude, she'll like tweet a picture of like Baby Yoda from like my phone. She'll
Grogu.
Yeah, she'll do a Grogu from my phone.
How does one?
If you guys ever see like random cartoons and stuff, it's her.
I figured as much, and I give them likes.
Should we do a selfie today, Yasmin?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh, and let's tweet it.
And we'll tweet it. Okay.
Oh, and let's tweet more Grogu.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and let's tweet more popsicle things and cherries.
All right, kiddo. We're doing another poll. We have 51 votes. Again, I'd like to get a better sample size. Let's get it a little bit bigger here.
This is way closer than your first poll.
See, so it did matter. Best served versus fastest. It's a different sentiment.
I forgot which one I voted for. I think I was going with LTE Life.
LTE Life. You know, I will tell you, Pete, now that I've seen all this 5G being built out, LTE is like in the back of my mind, man. I don't even really think about it much anymore.
Really? Because I still end up falling back on LTE quite frequently when 5G doesn't want to work on T-Mobile.
AT&T's the best network over there for you, and it's mostly LTE, right?
No. AT&T, I'm always on 5G DSSS. Always.
Yeah,
without fail.
Mostly LTE.
But I'm talking about for T-Mobile because they're my primary, right?
Yeah, it's all 5G over there, isn't it? N71 and 41.
But what I'm saying is there's a lot of times where 5G won't work on T-Mobile, and so I have to drop down to LTE. You're doing a face, but I'm being legit.
I know that's horrible, Dennis.
I'm telling you, his technician, the main technician, is his area. I think he might be related to some of the C-suites.
What's that mean?
If he wasn't, he probably would be fired.
Wait, what's a C? I don't understand. What's a C-suite?
CEO, CTO, CFO.
Oh.
You know, I haven't tested like the T-Mobile SIM and LTE only as a daily. Maybe I should do that for a week.
Wait, T-Mobile is LTE?
N71's on most of the sites now. N41's on almost half the sites now. Like, it's pretty nice.
I mean, I use.
I've shown you speed tests where the N71 gets like 150 down.
Yep. The only time I'm on LTE is when I'm under 25% battery.
But they have a lot of spectrum here. So like they have 15 on N71 here. Dennis has like 5.
He probably has 3
on N71 and 5 megahertz on N71 here.
Yeah.
Probably only has 3. So he doesn't get Canadian frequencies.
I'm not even that close to Canada.
Derek says T-Mobile's a little odd on that iPhone you're using.
My iPhone 13 Pro Max? That's like the perfect phone for T-Mobile. It has support for everything.
And you do it when you don't feel like getting a Samsung.
I have a Samsung S22 Ultra on T-Mobile as well. It's a white one.
Which works better.
It actually doesn't, Pete, because here's why it doesn't work better, Pete. The Samsung.
I'm saying which works better. I'm not saying the Samsung works better.
Oh, the iPhone works better, and here's why. The iPhone likes to connect to NSA. The Samsung likes to connect to SA, and when it connects to SA, you can't do jack diddly shit with T-Mobile. So
maybe in your market.
Listen, I would sooner go back to using an iPhone 5.
Does that
use standalone 5G from T-Mobile?
Does that iPhone 13 Pro Max aggregate your SA 5G?
I don't think so.
That might be your problem.
But the Galaxy S22 Ultra does. And that's the one I'm talking about being terrible. Listen, Listen, I can literally be standing in the same area. The S22 Ultra, if it's on standalone, will get like 1.75 down and like 0.005 up. Meanwhile, the iPhone will be getting like a good solid 250 down and like 20 up on NSA. That's the difference in performance that I'm talking about. It's not minor.
I still think SA's in the oven, but I like that they're actually deploying it.
I would like it if T-Mobile would stop trying to use me as a guinea pig test and actually put up a network that works.
That would require, the technical officer's nephew to get fired. So we have 83 votes in. We are stalling for time to hit 100. If you want us to shut up, vote.
Nice, Pete. I'm gonna go ahead and link the next story because we still didn't even get to it, and I feel like this one's pretty important, especially for us network geeks. I guess we're the hypersensitive, hyper-reactive, network tech enthusiast. So I'll go ahead and link that. It's in the live chat. I'll try to remember to put these in the show notes if I haven't yet. Let me go ahead and do my screen share, and then we'll discuss this. All right, so this one is from, I think it's Lightshed, and it should be up on the screen now. All right.
This one, I just want to say quickly, I've experienced this with T-Mobile in my market.
Did we just get a super chat, Pete?
Yes, we got one from Giuseppe Jimmy for $2 saying the OP9 Pro.
OnePlus 9.
Yeah, OnePlus 9 Pro, I think is the best for T-Mobile. 3 carrier AG plus NSA. It's pretty darn nice.
Sneed, we might as well just get the 7 more votes, and we're at 93. Come on, folks. 6 more votes. Come on.
Yeah,
we can do
appreciate it, Giuseppe Jimmy. And guys, get those votes in so we can cover the poll after this article. All right. All right, so here it is. We'll lay this all out first. No, I don't like this. Let me get rid of the chat overlay. And then let me do this.
Wait, Aaron's saying the 13 Pro Max doesn't do aggregation on 5G. It's a tweaked version of the modem in the 12. No, the 13 Pro Max has the X65 inside of it. It definitely does carry aggregation on 5G.
There you go. All right, guys. U.S. mobile network quality declines.
But it's U.S. mobile 5G. Or
like United States mobile network quality.
Okay.
All right, so J.D. Power said in a study, 2022 U.S. Wireless Network Quality Performance Study, Volume 2, found that more problems were cited, and the overall perception of network quality declined when compared to a Volume 1 study released in January of 2022. It says here, slow loading content or failure to load content was the most commonly reported problem, found the study, based on responses from 34,000 wireless customers in 6 regions: Mid-Atlantic, North Central, Northeast, Southeast, Southwest, and West.
I'm curious if the 34.1K is aggregate or per region.
The only thing I could tell here in terms of the way it's represented, it says that they tested based on a per 100 connections. Call quality, messaging quality, data quality. On an average, aggregate basis, the study found that per 100 connections, the performance dropped in Volume 2 compared to Volume 1. So that means that the network is more problematic more recently than it was in the Q1. So Mid-Atlantic had a 10 rating for Volume 2. That 10 represents the number of issues per 100 connections. That's a 10% clip. If 10% of your connections are problematic, I say that's pretty daggone high.
I mean, I've maybe experienced one issue out of 100.
Well, this is Mid-Atlantic, right?
Yeah.
Version 2 was at 10. Version 1 was at 9. So, it got a little worse. North Central, same situation. 10 for, version 2, 9 for version 1. So it got worse. Northeast, same thing, 10 to 9. Or excuse me, 9 to 10. Southeast from 10 to 11. Southwest from 11 to 12. And then west from 9 to 11. So that was the most dramatic change for the worse. Overall, though, more problems per 100 connections. Dennis, have at it, sir.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I lived through, like, post-merger with T-Mobile, right? Like, T-Mobile, before merger, had a very good LTE network. Merger happens, they start doing upgrades, and I make the joke that when T-Mobile touches the tire, they leave it worse off than it was, but then it eventually gets better, right? And they do more upgrades, and then it's worse off. They have to optimize it, all that other fun stuff, and it's this vicious cycle, especially right now while all the carriers are dabbling with standalone cores and all these other things that really are not precedented on like previous generations. So it's kind of clear to me that there would be issues that would degrade the network experience, especially too when we talk about and compound it with the shutdown of coverage. 3G got shut down, right? And a lot of coverage was lost because the carriers didn't go out to replace those cell sites and upgrade them with LTE. And
so, are you saying that some large amount of these were AT&T users?
no, I mean, Verizon was just as guilty. T-Mobile had places where they still connected to 2G. Dude, shucks, down at baggage claim at the Pittsburgh International Airport, I was connecting to Edge. With T-Mobile, they couldn't get LTE.
T-Mobile hasn't decommed 2G yet.
But it's going to happen.
They're decomming 3G, and AT&T should have already done that. I'm waiting for some gaps to pop up when Verizon does it in my market.
Listen, I'm just saying it doesn't surprise me, compounded with the fact that we're seeing increased usage across the board on all networks. So it doesn't surprise me. Side note, by the way, Snake, I just wanted to let you know we've hit 120 votes on the poll, so you know.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Excellent. All right, so we'll take a look at that shortly. Big shout out to Ruben. Appreciate the super chat. Thanks for calling a spade a spade. Love your content. Hello from Arizona. SMT for the win. Appreciate, man. Big Rubes, you're the best, man. Appreciate all that you do and supporting. And we're just glad to do this, bro. It's a labor of love that we enjoy making the content, and I'm glad that you guys are consuming it with enjoyment. So thank you. Actually, let me get rid of the chat overlay, and let me get rid of the super chat for a second. All right, so Verizon Wireless had 10 out of 100 problematic connections for the Northeast. The region average was 10. AT&T had 11. T-Mobile had 11. They're not off by much. 10 and 11. It's not really.
10% is pretty high in my opinion, though.
You know, it's 100 connections. You know, it's like.
That's
you have
high.
10 problems or you have 11 problems. I mean, my bigger issue is the fact that this is happening more than once per 100 connections.
I maybe have the issue 1 per 100 connections.
I mean, maybe these issues are like very picky. Like maybe you and me would be like, no big deal. It took 3 seconds to load. You know, like it would.
I remember when I couldn't load a web page even with a data plan. And I was on Verizon.
Well, that's not the case anymore, right, Pete?
Yep. If it doesn't load on one, it will load on the other as long as that's not AT&T here.
But I think the irony is what, like Dennis was saying, is here we are talking about these sophisticated 5G networks and all this added bandwidth and all this, and we're still having trouble. And in fact, we're having more trouble today than we were in January.
Well, I think part of the issue is if you look at DSS 5G and T-Mobile with N71 and N41, the carriers are literally cutting their holdings in half or third and 2/3 and whatnot, just so they can have some LTE here and some 5G here. So,
all right, poll is closed.
This one was much closer than the previous poll.
Which connection will be the fastest at the SMT HQ? AT&T 5G Plus at 36%. Verizon 5G UW at 35%. And then T-Mobile 5G UC at 27%. Wow. That's That's pretty close. There's some balance in there, man. All right, SMT Nation, I see you.
Yeah, but can we take a moment real quick to acknowledge that the one thing that T-Mobile's known for in everything, right, is to have speed, and they didn't win this poll.
Well, I mean,
come on, Sneed, come on.
I think what the poll is showing us is that people don't have faith that they're going to be pushing it in terms of like the maximum, what are we going to call it, potential throughput?
Yes, but what I'm more so targeting at here is that, like, if T-Mobile was doing things like they should, i.e. upgrading backhaul when they touch a site, all that fun stuff, this should have been like legitimately like 75% going to T-Mobile.
What if I told you that T-Mobile has, what if I told you that T-Mobile has 10 gig backhaul to the site?
I wouldn't believe you.
They do.
Did you ask for it on my line?
but let me finish real quick. Like, the way it should have went is it should have been 75% T-Mobile. And honestly, and this is coming from the quote unquote AT&T show, as people like to say I am.
You are. Don't live up to it, man.
Verizon should have been the other 25%. AT&T shouldn't even had a horse in this race. And the reason why Verizon should have been the other 25% is because there's a chance that your market gets lit up for the 100 megahertz of N77. And also, knowing Verizon, based off my experience when I went through Ohio, there's also a chance that they'll have that sweet CBRS and probably throw mmWave on there to boot, because Verizon be doing crazy stuff like that.
So I would say if T-Mobile did not have a reservation of 20 megahertz of band 41 for the LTE side, they would be mopping the floor with the 5G connection there.
I'm telling you, most of the time when I see N41 connections, it's 100 megahertz N41, 20 band 2, 20 band 66. That's 140 megahertz. T-Mobile should be the fastest on this site. With 10 gig backhaul, Verizon and AT&T, they just don't have the spectrum. We'll see. I'm going to test it. Dennis, I love the way you're thinking about it, right? You're looking at all those elements about this networking thing.
Hey,
but just theoretical, you know what I'm saying? I think it should be T-Mobile.
Sneed, let's re-examine this poll come September.
Well, how about this, Pete? We have to re-examine this in Q1 of next year.
What's happening in Q1 of next year?
AT&T is going to have DoD, plus they're going to have additional bandwidth on C-band.
T-Mobile should, I believe, will have some spectrum there too.
Yes,
and
they're going to add more.
If Sneed has the correct phone, he would be doing 3 mid-band carrier aggregation on T-Mobile.
And then Verizon's going to have more bandwidth too.
Hey,
they're going to go 100 megahertz in Q4.
PA Speed Testing Avengers has a question for you, Sneed, and I feel like it should be addressed. He said, how does T-Mobile do it? 10 gig per site, split by 3 sectors, or 10 gig per sector?
All sites work the same way. There's a 10 gig circuit to the site.
And then there's a load balancer per sector. So in theory, you can saturate all 3 sectors and get roughly 3.3 gigs a second bidirectional. But if for some reason two sectors, basically nobody's there, you got a 9-point-something gig chunk going to that one where everybody's partying.
Something else that I feel like that's worth mentioning is that you might as well just take 10% off the top for overhead out of that 10 gig, because you're not going to be able to use the full 10 gig.
Right. But I mean, it's just the reason I'm using the 10 gig example, because the site has 10 gig, just tells you that it won't be a fiber issue.
No,
if this network does not perform properly, it's going to be a radio issue. It's going to be an engineering issue. It's going to be interference, SINAR, something.
Yeah, it's going to be a power and optimization issue. Which, can I ask a question, by the way, Sneak? Because you're more informed and educated with this than myself personally. But for what reason is C-band able to propagate better than 2.5? I literally can't grasp it. Like, it doesn't make logical sense.
It actually makes a lot of sense. in its current version, N41 has a couple limitations. The major one in my market is the MIMO gear.
Yep.
The C-band MIMO gear is better. That's the first reason. The second reason, we're talking about FDD and TDD. Pete, take it away, bro.
Let's see.
Oh snap! We're bringing out the whiteboard.
Yep. Where the heck did I put my marker?
Side note: I know FDD is full duplex and TDD is time-based duplexing. Something like that is the meaning.
How does this go? There, we're good. So, got TDD, and technically this can divide. X-axis is time. Hi, Sneed.
Hi there, you kicked me out.
My bad. I'm trying to give Pete the big piece. Here you go.
So, the y-axis can go up to infinity. This does time. So you have download and upload, and there's a ratio between them in time. I seriously need to find my black marker. There we go. So there's a ratio between them in time. Ideally, for the download, we want greater than 90% of the time. And the upload, we need a dedication, and we want, about 10%. This can be balanced going out, simply be based on network demands. So you also get a difficulty saying, say, download gets 90% of the time. If you have the milliwatt on this too high, it can bleed into the upload period because of how power moves in AC. So you're limited by power because if your upload or download period is too strong, you're going to have interference because they're both dedicated channels. I think in most installations, when you're about half a mile from the site, you're around 80-20. So that's the difficulty with TDD, and there are proposals for near Canada for this to go to FDD to make it easier to
Band 7, right?
Band 7 to make it easier to avoid interference from Canada. And they are, for a lot of markets, I didn't hear this from anyone. We're going to be finding TDD, FDD, FDD, where the where you're getting approximately, in this combo, approximately 90%, 99% towards the download.
Wow.
That's bad, right?
No.
That's good.
This is
Kind of maximize efficiency and throughput. So
this is the 3CA, and we'll be finding upload channel on N2.
So Pete, which carrier is currently deploying a mid-band 5G channel in TDD?
T-Mobile.
And which carriers are currently deploying N77 and FDD?
Technically, you have Dish, AT&T, and Verizon doing FDD mid-band.
I have said time and time again, there are going to be situations where T-Mobile's N77 may perform a little bit better in range if these things don't change with N41. Their N77, where they have DoD and C-band, they will have like 60 megahertz of it. It's going to perform really good.
Yeah, but Sneed, there's two things that I just want to bring up real fast. One,
by the way, real quick, I can bust out a tablet if screen sharing works for the next on my whiteboard.
Cool. But two things I want to bring up real quick. One is that it's not a small difference in range that we're talking about. I'm talking like it's the difference between like a 3-mile range of usable coverage versus like 1.5 at best. 1.5 being T-Mobile, 3 miles being C-band. And two, the second more important thing here is that T-Mobile's mid-band is a lower frequency overall, so shouldn't it have better propagation characteristics even if the power is the difference? Like, shouldn't it still be pretty comparable?
Propagation is based on the amount of power that can go off the tower. I mean, if you were limited to
let me rephrase the question. Let's just say we had 1 watt of power, right? And I'm just using a generic number, okay? You have 1 watt of power. You're trying to push a 700 megahertz channel, 2.5 megahertz channel, or a 3.7 megahertz channel, or gigahertz channel. Shouldn't, in that scenario, the low band still be able to reach further with that same amount of energy as the input, or would it all be the same range?
Hold up.
Just insert some static amount of power and apply that across like 700 megahertz, 2.5 gigahertz, and 3.
Yeah, but Dennis, don't forget that if T-Mobile is able to secure all those white space licenses for the N41, this auction here up in about a week, they can probably boost up the power on their N41 in a lot of places. It should help.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard me, but I said there was 2 parts. One was that the difference in range is not like a small amount. It's the difference between like 3 miles and 1.5. 3 miles being C-band in ideal conditions, 1.5 being T-Mobile.
Yeah, the EIRP on N41's like minus 42 dBm. On N77, it's like minus 62 or minus 65. Or excuse me, 62 or 65 dBm. It's a big difference.
Yeah.
But it's also gear too. Like the massive MIMO on the N77 gear is better. Look, I don't know who's in these N41 markets with Ericsson, but they got it made. Apparently their stuff is phenomenal. They're getting like 7 miles and 5 miles in rural.
Dude, the best I've seen from T-Mobile, I'm talking like the true best, is like 1.5. After that, what ends up happening is the uplink literally is non-existent to the point. It's
Dennis, it's a mid-band problem right now. The N77's not that much better. It's a little better, but not much.
Well, no. Let me finish. In T-Mobile's case, if you're past 1.5, the uplink's so bad you can't even finish a test, and you can't even load up a website because there's literally no uplink at all for you to make the connection, like to the website to send out saying like I want to request.
I was a mile away from an N41 site. I got 300 down, and not even 1 up. I've seen it. I know exactly what you're talking about, bro.
But meanwhile,
the first thing that goes is the uplink.
But meanwhile, with C-band, AT&T specifically here, because of that really well optimized site up by the movie theater, I could be 3 miles away, still get like 150 down and like 15 up.
It's the MIMO radio gear and it's the power. That's it. And, T-Mobile can do 2 things about that. Shore up those licenses, kick up the power, and start using massive MIMO gear on all their sites. Look, I'm not trying to put them down. I'm just stating the facts. Like everybody talks about physics. There's 2 parts to RF. Right? Like signal quality and signal power. And that's what we're talking about here. These signals get noisy when you start pushing them.
Side note,
power density matters and splitting cells matters. All that counts.
Side note, I know you probably already knew this, but
big shout out to Brandon. Thanks for the super chat.
Pittsburgh is a Nokia market for T-Mobile.
Are you seeing the massive MIMO gear, or are you seeing the stuff like that I have?
Probably the stuff that you have, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine. I'm getting 500, 600, 700 megabits sometimes. It's not bad. But
It
I will
goes
admit
Nokia.
that the range is limited and the uplink suffers.
It goes Nokia for T-Mobile, Nokia for AT&T, Samsung for
Sammy for
Verizon.
Verizon. Yep, same thing for me.
Which,
Pete, what do you guys got out there? Longmont. You're muted. Dude, we lost Pete's audio for real.
Ah, snap.
He's just smiling now at this point.
He's got the whiteboard. He'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
What's he saying? No.
He's just writing small. I can't.
Haven't checked, I think he said.
Checked. Okay, all right, okay.
But what was I saying? Oh, which I just want to say really quickly, Nokia gets a bad rep for their equipment, but AT&T has been able to do amazing things with Nokia gear.
No, the Nokia millimeter wave is trash.
I think I fixed it.
There we go.
Haven't checked.
Yeah, Nokia millimeter wave is trash. Nokia Sub 6 is phenomenal.
By the way, I need to clean my tablet for the computer, so it will write.
Also, I don't know if people realize this, but the only reason why I get hard on T-Mobile is because they're literally, I've said this before, I've used this analogy before, they're like the gifted child. They're just not getting the resources they need to be able to execute and fulfill that potential. Like, legitimately, there shouldn't even be a discussion. T-Mobile, hands down, right now in this current time period of the recording of this podcast on July 19, 2022, should have the best network everywhere, period. But they don't.
So, Anwar chimes in with a $2 super chat saying, yeah.
Anwar, yeah. It's more like that, Pete.
I'm not going to pronounce it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Hey, guys, I got to close out the show. We're already hitting like the 90-minute mark here shortly. I want to thank everybody for their super chats, first of all.
Hold up. We got Alternate Reality, Franco Barrera, MS, Giuseppe, Jimmy, Ruben, Brandon Elbers, Anwar, Kadena, and John McAlian.
You guys are the best. Thanks for supporting. I want to thank everybody for voting in tonight's polls. I want to thank everybody for liking this video. If you haven't done that, please do that now. Rate the video and then share it to your socials and to all your friends and family, you know, if they're into like cellular stuff. I got some really cool videos up and coming. I have a ton of content that I got to drop. If you guys want early access to that content, it's all on Patreon. I drop early release content on Patreon basically every day. There's exclusive stuff on Patreon every week, live streams, videos. I share images and pictures, some testing sometimes. So if you want more access, you guys can get your cellular fix there. All that's in the description box. Pete, Dennis, you guys are the best. Thank you for everything. I'm going to go ahead and close out the show quickly so I can go and take care of the little one. But thank you all for everything, gentlemen. We will see you all on the next live stream. Peace.